Good morning, Rio Grande third graders. Good to see you. We're back from spring break. I hope you guys enjoyed your time, but now it's time to get back to work. So let's go ahead and start with our DMA problems. The first problem that we have is a word problem. So it says, in 4 days, Paige saw a total of 32 skydivers. Now, we already know that this is a total of 32 skydivers over 4 days. So those are the numbers that we're working with in our problem right now. It says she saw the same number of skydivers each day. How many skydivers did Paige see in just 1 day? So we're looking for the number of skydivers that flew or dived or dove, however you want to put it, dove for not over 4 days, but each day. So this tells us that we're going to use division. We're going to take those 32 total skydivers and we're going to break them apart up into the 4 days to see how many there were in just 1 day or each day, if that's the case. Now let's take a look at the back, and we're going to do this problem in our extra space in the back. We know that this is division because they want us to know how many skydivers for each day or just 1 day. So that tells us that we're going to take our total of our divers and we're going to break them up into the 4 days or between the 4 days, and that's going to give us the number of divers each day or in 1 day. Each day being at least one of those days, right? So if I take the 32 and break them up into 4 equal groups, right? 4 equal groups, I want to know how many there are for each day. So if I were to start with 5 each day, that would be 5, 10, 15, 20. Well, that gives me at least enough to start me off to getting to that 32 broken apart. So if I just start with 5, 10, 15, 20, so far 20 out of those 32 skydivers have dove. So let's say now I need to get up to 32 and I'm at 20. So I go 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and finally 32. So 5 and 3 makes 8. And each day there were 8 divers that dove. So 32 divers broken up between the 4 days. That means that we have 8 divers each day. So we could say there were 8 divers each day because if you break apart or divide, right? That's what you're doing when you're dividing. You're breaking it apart. If you break apart 32 divers or divide between, I'm just going to move this up a little bit so you can continue to see, between the 4 days, you get 8 divers in a day. So there's our first problem for today. Remember, you're going to write out an equation. You're going to show based on a model how you got that answer, and then you're going to write that response into a reasoned answer. Okay, let's take a look at our next problems. These are missing parts of a division or multiplication equation or number sentence. Our first problem is missing the total number of objects. We don't know how many objects were divided up into two groups, but we do know how many were in each group. So this tells us that we can use, to find this total, we know our groups, we know the number in each group, and so we can find the total by using multiplication. So if I have two groups and I have 5 objects in each group, then I know I have 10 total objects. So I can take that 10, which was my product, and now I can use that as my dividend. In the next number sentence, we have a missing factor. I have one group of so many that's going to give me 9. Well, how many would I have to have in this one group to give me 9 total objects? That one's pretty easy. We know that 1 times 9 is going to be 9. Anything times 1 is going to be that number of objects here in this product. And the next one is a division problem as well, but now we're looking for the number of objects in each group. Now again, if we know our groups, but we don't know the number in each group, but we do know our total, this is telling us that we're missing that number in each group. Now, we could use repeated subtraction, which means we could take 42 and keep subtracting 7 and see how many times we can subtract 7. Or we could count by 7s to see how many groups of 7 we can use, right? And that would mean that we're doing this now. But again, it shouldn't matter because if we switch our factors tell us that we can use the order property to find the missing factor. So let's try adding by groups of 7. So we have 7, 14, 21. Another group of 7 would be 28, 35, and finally 42. Well, how many groups of 7 did I have to add to get to 42? So I could also do the same thing. I could subtract backwards and go 42, 35, 28, 21, 14, 7, and then I'd subtract that 7 and get 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 groups of 7 is equal to 42. So 42 divided by 7 equals 6. All right, let's take our last problem, and there's actually 2 parts to this problem. But I first want to discuss, where is half? So if we take a look at where half is right down the middle, right? Equal parts, right? There are 8 equal parts. So that means there should be 4 on this side and 4 on this side. That's what half is, right? 2 equal parts. Well, this is where half is. Not 8, half. And when we take those halves, then we can use those halves to create fourths, right? And where are those fourths going to be? Well, down the middle between, so we have a 1/4 here, a 2/4 here, and a 3/4 here. Now remember, 1/2 and 2/4 are the same, or in the same place, or they are equivalent, right? Equivalent. So 1/2 and 2/4 are equivalent to each other. Now we can take a look at where the 8s are. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is broken up into 8 equal parts because we took each one of those fourths and we broke it up. And when we did that, we created 8s. So what's 1/8 and 2/8 and 3/8 and 4/8? Notice that we still have these fourths within these 8s because what we did was we took each fourth and we broke it up into 2 more parts. We multiplied it by 2, okay? So now we can continue on. This is 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and finally 1 whole is the same as 8/8. So where is 4/8? Which is right there. We can place a point for 4/8. And we can place a point for 6/8. And we can see that 4/8 is equivalent to half, and it's also equivalent to 2/4, because when we took those fourths and broke them up into halves again, then we created 8/4. And then we took those fourths and created eighths. So I want you today, in your discussion question, I want you to tell me 4/8 is also equivalent to what other two fractions? Two fractions, okay? That's what I want for your discussion. So 4/8 is the same as these two fractions right here. Okay, we'll see you in small group today, and have a great day, guys.